Hi friends, it's Lori and welcome to my garden. So today's going to be a little different video and a little on the sad side. Yes, sad in the garden. We all have things in the garden that don't live, that brown up, that get diseases and get bugs. But today I'm going to talk to you about one that I feel like I could have prevented. I know that's not necessarily true, but today we're going to talk about this gorgeous rose. This rose has been with me for over 4 years now. She was the first David Austin rose I ever purchased, and she was one of the first plants I put in the garden. But unfortunately, she has to come out today. So yes, this beautiful, huge, thriving rose has a disease that is incurable for roses. It only attacks roses. It's called Rosette. You may have heard about it. If you grow roses, I'm sure you know about it. And I think that it could have been prevented in this situation. So I want to show it to you in case you are starting to grow roses so you know what to look for. And I also want to tell you why I think I did it to the plant. I feel really bad about it, and it just breaks my heart because she is so beautiful and just provides so much gorgeousness in my garden. So backing up to when I originally planted this rose, I originally planted her in the crabapple garden. So when I first started this garden, I actually put her at the end. She was at the edge of the patio, and she would fall over the patio and was beautiful. But as the crabapple trees grew the past 3 years, I knew she wasn't getting enough sunlight, and she was really leaning outward. And I also had decided to create the bed in front of her and make it an actual garden bed. And so this early winter, I think it was in March, I wanted to move her to the new space. And so we dug a great big root ball, we put her in, we did biotone and rose tone and all those things, and watered her, and she took off growing. However, when you transplant a rose of that size, they are more susceptible to viruses and diseases. And unfortunately, I think she became stressed, and the mites that cause rosette had an opportunity to come in and cause the disease because I had never seen the disease on her before. So let me show you what rosette looks like. And first of all, rosette is not curable. Unfortunately, they haven't found a way to cure it. It will end up attacking the entire rose. And I know that's true because I saw one branch earlier this year that I thought was rosette, and I cut it off and I thought, no, it's not, that's not it. It's just something weird. But now I've got 2 big branches full of it. So unfortunately, it is going to kill the rose. Since it's fall, I'm going to do the best thing, remove it. I have to trash it. I can't compost it. And then we're going to let the soil sit. So I'm going to tell you more about that, but let me show you what it looks like. Okay, so you can see this leafy green branch, poke myself, is gorgeous. But if you look here, this branch, and it goes all the way down. It is black down at the bottom, like diseased black, but it's got all of these weird branching on it. And so that is a classic sign. They often call it witch's broom, but you can see it is just a gnarly branch, and it's not even blooming. And so it goes all the way there. It forms some thorns, but it just is nasty looking. Let me show you this one up here. So this is a telltale sign. If you get a branch and the blooms just look awful, it looks like it's been sprayed with something, and it's just gross. This one is trying to bloom, but look at that bloom versus what it's supposed to look like. So I also have a branch over here in the back, if you can see it right down there. So that was the original one that I noticed, but it was small. So I had cut it and I'd kind of ignored it because the rose is so beautiful. She's getting ready to bloom again. And the blooms on the healthy branches, of course, are beautiful, as you can see right here. But I now have 3 huge stems impacted by the rose rosette. So in order to deal with this, again, I've done my research and there's not a cure, there's not a treatment for it. You can't just cut it out, unfortunately. So what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna cut away the plant, bag it in a trash bag, and then I'm gonna have to pull all the way to the roots. Now, the good news is it doesn't transfer to other plants. So rose rosette is just for roses, and it's not like airborne. It's mites that come in when the plant is under stress. So we're gonna remove it. The good news of the story, if there is any, is that within a couple months, I can plant in this space. Now, we've got winter approaching in 2 months. I have ordered a replacement rose for here, and I'll share with you what that is at the end of the video. So I'm not gonna plant it this winter, but in probably March, I will plant that rose. So what I'm gonna do when that rose comes in, I'm just gonna put it in a large nursery pot. I'm gonna keep it protected, but it will be fine in a nursery pot over the winter season. I'll keep it out of the wind and all of that. And then in around March, which is a great time of year, March, April, in zone 7B, I can plant it out. And by then, this space, the mites will not be an issue. They ultimately, when they don't have anything, I guess, to feed on, they go away and they find somewhere else to eat and impact. So first thing we're gonna do is just cut it all to pieces, bag it up, get it out of here. And then I think what I'm gonna do today is that's gonna open up this space, and I actually want to work some in this garden bed. But I think first thing, we're just gonna get this out of here, and then I wanna show you the beautiful rose that I've decided to put back in its place. So this is gonna be really heartbreaking. I should play some sad music, shouldn't I? But if you are thinking about a David Austin rose, do not let this stop you. My lesson learned is, I think when you are going to plant a rose, it is so important to put it in the spot it's going to stay in. Sometimes I know we have to move plants, life changes, but my lesson learned was I should have just put it in the sunshine to begin with, or left her where she was and let her just stay the way she was in the shape she was. So anyway, sometimes I think we get hasty to move things, and in this case, she was just too big, too established, and I think it caused her a lot of stress. So, all right, I'm gonna get started. Enough putting this off, and I'm gonna fast forward this, and then we'll talk about what's gonna go in its place. All right, you guys, well, I got the job done. I had been putting this off for a couple weeks, and I knew it needed to happen. I think I was in a little bit of denial, but it's done now, and now we're gonna just move on. And I think there's always a silver lining, right? as I look at this space now, man, it's wide open. And it's kind of fun to see the container from this, wide open view. So I'm gonna think about it. My mom came out and said, once you get the Cleome out, the dahlia container, and this Cleome, you can kind of see the space with fresh eyes. Now, I did order a new rose because I love roses and I want a rose in this garden bed. I ordered a cupcake by Heirloom Rose. I think it's raspberry cupcake. I'm going to put the description box in the screen. And I'm really excited about it. It is a beautiful, brighter pink. I do think this space needs a little bit of a brighter pop. Everything is pretty soft and muted. So she's coming. I will not put her in this ground until probably March. So my idea would be to just pot her up, put her in a protected space this winter, and as soon as the weather changes in March, I can get her in the ground. So I think now that it's open, I can kind of think about this space differently. The rose I ordered is going to be large, but actually I get full sun right here. Now the magnolia tree is a slow grower, and yes, she's going to get bigger, but we're also going to keep her managed in size. So I could put the rose right here on the corner. I could also kind of angle her this way and then kind of keep this kind of a little bit open. Maybe put a hydrangea here and have some lower things so that there's a little more openness when you look through to the garden. I think that is one thing. The rose was beautiful and I would have never gotten rid of her, but now that she's gone, I can see the space in a new way. So I would love your thoughts on kind of, do you like it being open to this gorgeous container and kind of seeing through the garden area? And I'm thinking that might be a really good way to go. And where the purple and white Cleomes are, maybe put the new rose there and then have some lower shrubs or hydrangeas and maybe some taller hydrangeas at the end, and just kind of give it a little breathing space and really highlight this gorgeous container that I really wanted to be a focal point in the garden. It's almost like a fountain, but I can't have a fountain. I don't have electricity. But let me show you a few things that are beautiful before we wrap up today. I want to end on a beautiful note. So I still have some dahlias blooming. Look at that, late September. So gorgeous in the morning light. And let's see, this one has been one of my favorites. She is one of my seedlings. And that just means I had dahlia seeds last year. She got cross-pollinated and this is what we came out with. And I think I'm gonna name her after my daughter, Grace or Gracie. And I am just in love with her. She's got that touch of pink, bright yellow center. She's so flirty and fun. And to me, she just looks like a sweet, sweet summertime. Let me show you as she ages. She gets pinker. Isn't she pretty? So this is a dahlia I'm going to save, and I actually want to probably bag one of those and try to get some seeds from her. So I'm going to make sure I save her tubers for sure. She's really fun. All right, you guys. Well, as you can see, the blue skies are out today. It is a gorgeous fall day. No complaints here. We have had just a beautiful kind of early fall into October fall. It's just been such a gift because we had a pretty hot, miserable summer. So I am absolutely loving it. So again, thanks so much for watching. I know it's just no fun taking out something big like this, but I wanted to be honest with you guys. I wanted to show you what had happened, and I wanted to have a video where maybe someone else can learn from it. So the good news out of all of this is I get to rethink this space and maybe do it even different or better. So I really would value your comments. Let me know kind of where you would maybe put a new rose. If you'd put it back in the same spot, I think that's great. It is going to be a large rose. Now I can keep her maintained a little, but I do have to consider that when planting her. I also have some areas along the long border I could put the rose, but I really love having a rose in this garden space. So that's going to do it for today. I have lots of cleanup to do, as you can see. So I'll be bringing you along for that. I also have some beautiful plants that I want to get in the ground. So we'll do a happier video in a couple days. See you soon, everybody. Hope you can get out in your garden and enjoy the season of fall.